2 years ago, 2021, 128 targets, 103 receptions, 1,038 yards, 9 touchdowns.
What's up, fantasy football friends, and welcome to our 4-part series where we give you the players that we value most from each team. But first, we got some news.
Just 2 bits of news for you, quick stuff. Kellen Moore says that Eckler's still the guy. Was asked in a post-practice press conference. That was pretty obvious, but there's been a little bit of rumors about Josh Kelly or another guy possibly stepping in, taking over some work. Isaiah Spiller, I believe, is the RB3 there. So a good sign for Eckler. Kind of something we already knew, but it's good to hear the new offensive coordinator coming in and say that. And then secondly, out of Indianapolis, Zach Moss, the running back, the presumed starting running back, now that Jonathan Taylor was out for the first 3 weeks, Zach Moss, guys, is out for 2 to 3 weeks to start the season. Definitely look for Deion Jackson if you're looking for a guy to roster on your last bench spot maybe, or someone that might be a top waiver wire addition going forward. We saw him fill in admirably against the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. I believe he had 10 receptions. Running back situation in Indy is not good right now.
We're going to start off in the AFC West. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen for the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a security blanket for Justin Herbert. He can look to him and almost find him open in any zone situation. Great in man too. Just an amazing route runner. He's really deceptive, light on his feet. A guy that has gotten 10 receptions and a half. Like, he can do that. Yeah. 89 targets over 10 games. So averaging almost 9 targets a game. Seems like his connection with quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers and Herbert, both very strong. Like, they're on the same page almost all the time. If Herbert can extend the play, he can end up finding Keenan Allen open somewhere. ADP of 42. So I see that value in the 4th round. I think there's no way that he ends up as a low end wide receiver 2, like mid wide receiver 2 at the lowest, creeping up into the low end wide receiver 1. Keenan Allen's a guy I'm looking to grab from the Chargers. From the Broncos, I'm going with Courtland Sutton. Sean Payton in the offense this year is going to be much better. I think we see Russell Wilson take a step up as well, giving him better looks. Expected to improve on what he did last season. I think there was a lot of hype around him going in. Just that whole Broncos team looked like they were in disarray. This year is going to be a little bit different. 14 red zone targets last year and 12 of those being in the end zone. That's tied for 7th in the league with AJ Brown and Allen Lazard. Now, Sutton was only able to capitalize on those targets with 2 touchdowns. AJ Brown and Allen Lazard with 11 and 6 respectively, so has to go up.
Guys, Keenan Allen is going to be someone we're going to keep saying until the beginning of the season. If you still haven't drafted like us, go get him. No reason not to. Sutton is another guy, like you're saying, 9th round ADP guys could totally outperform that. From KC, I'm giving you Skyy Moore. ADP of 123, 2nd year guy. He's the number 1 receiver in that offense. It's been declared. I've seen that throughout preseason. Skyy Moore, he's an electric guy. We really saw him come on in that playoff run last year. Had a great game in the Super Bowl. Again, guys, ADP of 123, so he's going at wide receiver 49, so top of the wide receiver 5s. I don't see how there's any way in a Kansas City offense like that he does not outperform that.
2nd year step.
Yeah, 2nd year step, exactly. I don't see him finishing below wide receiver 3, to be honest. And a Kansas City offense is the wide receiver 1. Great opportunity there. Juju's out. Someone has to step up. That's over 100 targets that are vacated in that offense. So guys, Skyy Moore is the guy I'll be looking out for late in my draft. Now in Las Vegas, the Raiders, guys, another receiver for you, Hunter Renfrow. 2 years ago, 2021, 128 targets, 103 receptions, 1,038 yards, 9 touchdowns. Made the Pro Bowl. So we've seen the guy do it in this league before. His ADP, he's getting forgotten a lot. ADP of 228, and you and I were talking about this with Jimmy G coming over, and I don't want this to get twisted or anything. He's going to play a similar role as Deebo Samuel. Obviously not in the running game, not nearly as physical, but an underneath guy that knows how to get open. Very quarterback friendly guy. We know Jimmy G does not throw with great depth, so I think Hunter Renfrow is going to benefit from that greatly. Obviously, we know Devontae is going to absorb majority of targets, but we've seen this guy put up great numbers before. Only played 10 games last year, so I'm scrapping last year, guys. If Hunter Renfrow is healthy and he's playing, he's going to get looks. He's a guy that I think could honestly garner 6 targets a game. I think that's fair to say for someone like him. You could honestly take him in the last round of your draft and no one else is thinking about him.
Yeah, I like that comparison with Jimmy Garoppolo coming over and the potential there. So we're going to shift over to the NFC West. I'll start off with the Seattle Seahawks. I like Tyler Lockett as a value player there. 117 targets and 84 receptions last year. 9 touchdowns despite Metcalf leading the league with 24 end zone targets. A lot of his touchdowns come from outside of the red zone, actually.
Deep ball type of guy.
Deep ball. Someone that's been very explosive over over his career.
Yes.
Over 1,000 yards yet again. Seems to do it almost every year. And ADP of 69, so you're getting him at the bottom of the 6th. I see no reason he can't be a great flex player for you there. I'm more than happy taking him in all of my drafts. Cam Akers is next. He really started to earn Sean McVay's trust. Obviously, we're talking about the Rams here. After a shaky start to last season, he saw over 100 carries in the last half of the season, so started to get that bell cow roll that you like to see in your running backs. Volume is king.
Yep.
Limited role in the passing game, but at an ADP of 61, I'm happy to take him. RB2, flex type of guy. Can start him right away. You don't have to sit and wait, see what happens. I think that role is solidified for him in the beginning of the season. With Kupp and Stafford back, obviously Kupp suffered a little bit of a setback, but assuming that they're playing, this offense is going to have a lot more opportunity to get touchdowns, and Cam Akers is going to reap those benefits.
Absolutely. Lockett's a guy that I feel like I get burned on talking bad about him every year, so definitely confident with where he's getting drafted, so I like that one. Moving over to Arizona, I got to give an apology to everyone I've ever talked to about this guy because I give him way too much crap. James Conner. He's getting drafted at pick 60 right now, so bottom of the 5th, top of the 6th at that turn spot. He's an underrated receiver. He was 13th in receptions. A guy that gets a lot of work out of the backfield. 12th in points per opportunity, so that's carries plus receptions. So a guy that really is efficient in an awful offense in terms of fantasy production. The one thing I will say is that he does have a low breakaway percentage, so he's not a guy that has burning speed, doesn't have real track speed or anything. James Conner, guys, is someone that's gonna get volume. As Carter just said, volume is king across the board. He's a guy that doesn't have any competition in that backfield. Keontae Ingram is the only other guy, and I haven't heard a single thing about him in the offseason. So James Conner, guys, is solidified in his spot within that offense. I actually think Joshua Dobbs isn't anyone that I'm getting excited about, but I'm more confident in him than I am Cole McCoy running an offense. You know, you get a little more versatility, a little more youth injected in there at the quarterback spot. So James Conner, guys, I think if you're having him as your RB2 flex guy, him and Cam Akers, Rashad White, Madison, you're going to see all those guys in the 5th round, somewhere in there. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins. I think James Conner, guys, is great value for where he's getting taken. He's my guy for Arizona. Moving over to San Francisco, a receiver that both you and I really like this year. The guy was 3rd in target separation, so he gets open. ADP of 71, bottom of the 6th, Brandon Aiyuk. I think it's crazy that this guy's getting taken at the 6-7 turn. I mean, the guy put up 1,015 yards, 78 receptions, and 8 touchdowns. 2.09 yards per route run. My nerd stat for you guys. 11th in snap share, so he's on the field. He's playing. 13 red zone targets, only 3 end zone targets, but the guy still finished with 8 touchdowns. So I think that's a guy that's going to see high value opportunity. I think he's the true wide receiver one in that offense. If I had to rank all these guys, I think Aiyuk is obviously one of the best value picks at the bottom of the 6th. To end things off, he was 23rd in target share, which is also encouraging. Brandon Aiyuk, guys, big smash pick for me. I'll be all over him in our draft if he's in there.
Kind of reminds me value-wise like Hollywood Brown. I think both of those guys are someone that you can get later and will certainly return their value.
Right.
So that wraps up the AFC and NFC West. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any questions or want to interact with us on anything we just talked about.
Guys, let us know what you think about the guys we picked. If you see value elsewhere, we'd love to know.